Hi, Gerald. Hi, everyone. So, yes, my name is Chaltu, and this is the Kenya section, not the Nigeria section. Sorry for the small confusion. We were just trying to set up a bit of technical hitch, but I'm glad we're here now. And today we're going to have Engineer Martha, one of the best mentors we have here. And she's going to speak to us about personal branding and how, as young people, as we come into the industry, how placing ourselves in terms of personal branding can help us either get onto the board in terms of leadership or simply be an obstacle if not done right. So we're going to have Engineer Martha join us. Martha, welcome.
Thanks, Chaltu. It's a pleasure meeting you all, despite being virtual, but we'll have an engaging session. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. So as we get onto the session, I'd like us to all get ready with the different questions you're going to have for Engineer Martha. She's a very interactive person. Any ideas you might want to get in terms of what you want to know, if you want to get into leadership, what you can do right, and any other question you may be having for her. She's the CEO for KEPSA, Deputy CEO. She's an engineer here, and she's done a lot of mentorship for young women and for other young people in the industry. So please feel free and get ready with your questions as she presents to us. And we are going to have a very lively and interactive session. Thank you all. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you, Chaltu. Really appreciate it. It's a pleasure joining you all. I know we are from different time zones, so good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, maybe. But it's still a pleasure that we managed to meet today at this time and just discuss leadership and engineering and think how best we can support each other in the growth and also supporting the country and the global village that we are all in this time. So as you've heard, my name is Engineer Martha Cheruto. I am the Deputy CEO, as has been mentioned by Chaltu. And at the same time, I'm a very proud engineer because my background is that I'm a mechanical engineer and I've risen through the ranks, and right now I'm at the leadership level. And it's my joy to just share my journey, at the same time listening in and just responding to the questions that are there. So for us to start off, I was asked to touch on is personal branding, costing you a seat at the board. And it made me think through it and ask myself, how best would this be delivered? There are various ways of delivering it, but I'll take you through a story. And the story that I have in mind comes in where an organization, their CEO was going on retirement, and they needed to get a replacement. So what they decided, the current CEO decided to just ask his team how best they would wish it to be done. So they all gave their different suggestions. But one morning during a staff meeting, he gave everyone a seed and asked them that he would wish them to go and plant it and return back with results after a certain period, a 1-year period, and everyone should come back. But they should give their review on a monthly basis. So they should take a photo of that seed in a pot and share to the whole team. So that everyone every month came in and gave out something. So there was one particular staff who went home and realized that his seed was not germinating. It was still the same way it was, the way he was given by his boss. So he got worried and wondered, what do I do? How come my other colleagues are having seeds, they're having fruits, they can actually see it germinating and they even have very good photos about their seed, but his is not. The wife challenged him and told him, it's okay. If yours doesn't do anything, just let it be. Just present as is. So he went ahead with the advice of the wife and he continued taking a photo of the seed the way it was in his pot. So time went by, the last date came in, and the CEO asked everyone during the staff meeting, present what you have. So they all brought in their pots and they're looking very nice. So this particular employee was worried that the other employees have fruits or they have very nice flowers, but his was just a seed in soil. So he sat at the back of the room and kept quiet. The CEO later called him to the front and actually told the rest of the team that this is the next CEO. And everyone wondered, because when he was moving to the front, everyone was laughing at him. So he was declared the new CEO. And the word from that CEO, as he was crowning the new CEO, he told them the seed that he gave every employee was boiled. Therefore, he did not expect any germination. He did not expect to see flowers or anything, or the fruits or the trees that the other employees were trying to show. So what do we learn from that? So many things, and we'll be capturing them as we go by. And the other thing that comes on board is when we are always told life is the most difficult exam. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. You can relate that to the story. If he had copied others or asked them, then it means he would have failed his exam. But because he was truthful, he stuck to being to integrity, being honest, he actually got the seat. So now that brings us to the whole discussion. What do we need to do? What's personal branding? What do we need to do as individuals, as engineers, or as professionals in this field, as students? What is personal branding? And personal branding is something that is usually said, what do people say about you when you're not in the room? It's a way of marketing yourself. It is who you are. So all of us in this room, we are a brand. Therefore, we need to define our brand. We need to be deliberate. So there are three things that go through branding. And the items, one is it has to be deliberate. You have to be deliberate about your brand. Number two, it has to be consistent. How consistent are you on your brand? Have you identified your expertise and how good are you in it? So be very good around it that nobody can ignore you. And finally, be sincere about your brand. Be authentic from just the same story. Be sincere in everything that you do. So what I can do today is just take you through some items that I felt, and I'll be referring to the notes that I wrote down just to capture all of us, is that sometimes we really think through our personal brand and wonder, does it have to be static? The answer can be yes, dependent on what your vision is. So you need to have a vision. And at the same time, it can also evolve. So you go alongside your vision. How do you want to be known? Strive to be a legend, because legends live beyond their lifetime. We can always think of people who have been there. And in Africa, I believe all of us always remember Nelson Mandela. He died some years back, but we still refer to him. People still talk about him. When we talk about brand, who comes to your mind? When we talk about you, when your name is mentioned, what comes to mind from people? Let us use some examples. Oprah, Obama. In Kenya, we have Kip Keino. We have Kipchoge. We have Kipchoge Keino. We have the latest, Eliud Kipchoge. What comes to mind when you talk about these names? What comes to mind when you talk about Trump? What comes to mind when you talk about the presidents of different countries? Of Rwanda, your president in, say, in Tanzania, in Germany, the chancellor. So once you look at yourself, always ask yourself, when my name is mentioned somewhere, what comes to the mind of people? So that's a way of you, once you have identified that, what's your vision, then you know this is what we're going to do. The other things that I can actually emphasize on people is seek out opportunities. Say yes to opportunities. Richard Branson always said one thing: when you're given an opportunity, say yes to the opportunity, then go and learn how to do it. Those opportunities grow us. Those opportunities give us information. They give us the networking platform that we want and the skills that would help us in future. So learn to accept opportunities that come to your desk, because opportunities come once. Once it's gone, it's gone. The next thing that we'd want us to also look at is, what opportunities do you have to speak? When you're asked in campus, please present on the above. Do you say no or do you say yes? If you're asked to speak to students, do you say no or do you say yes? So those opportunities grow your confidence, they grow your name, they grow you as an individual, and it also enhances your knowledge about a certain topic. So if today you're a software developer, learn around it, talk about it, speak at conferences on them. And that's one way of you coming out visible, and even expanding your knowledge and interacting. The third thing that I would also wish us to do is let's also network beyond our immediate team. Usually we restrict ourselves and say, this is my role. My role defines A to B. I will not go and learn what C does. But then for coming out into the board or being a leader, then you're expected within an organization to learn A to Z. Not be an expert in all the 26 teams, but understanding how C influences F, how Z influences J, and how all these alphabets are tied in, or the departments are tied in to the vision of an organization. Once you do that, it exposes you, you learn the financials of an organization, you learn the communicating side, you learn the marketing side, you learn the strategy side. And what it does is that it expands your scope and your thinking, you become strategic, and that puts you ahead of the rest. Putting you ahead of the rest is one way of you presenting yourself to the next level of leadership. We are all leaders in our own capacity, but then we grow in terms of levels of leadership. So network, get to know your circle, interact with those who you want to be like. Who are your role models? Who are your mentors? Who are the coaches in your life that they're going to hold your hand to advise you, to guide you, and even challenge you? So you need to get someone who challenges you to achieve your potential and actually maximize your full potential. It is always said the tragedy in life is not in death, but the death in us when we still live. Because you need to leave a mark. And what will that mark be? So we are all looking at this, that being at the board gives you access to an organization and makes you develop policies for the board or for a certain organization. Therefore, you cannot be limited to one line of your or one line or department, yet you want to give guidance to an entire organization. So open your mind and interact with as many people as you can as you still grow your expertise, because what do you want to be known for? If you want to be known to be the best chef, then you will learn about being a good chef and being the best chef in the world, but at the same time understand the nitty-gritties of running a hotel, running the hospitality industry, interacting with all the other departments, see how all of you work together to grow the organization. And then now that puts you at a better place to actually sit on a certain board of another hotel or your own or something else or another business for you to provide guidance, because you'll have expanded your scope. So, and then maybe on that, as I continue, would be just thinking through and asking ourselves, are we the big fish in a small pond? Or are we going to be that small fish in the big pond and still grow? So you look at your jurisdiction. When you feel you don't have space again to grow, then move on. You have to jump ship and get to the next big step so that you can continue growing yourself, because the world is limitless. It is only us who limit ourselves. So then the other thing that I want us to really look at is, I was just coming through from that background on personal branding, and then how do people view you? How do you present yourself? As engineers, one of the things that I can always challenge us is we're used to being very casual and thinking that our world is just being in the field. But even being in the field, some of us usually just wake up in the morning and we're not very keen on our grooming. So what we are expected to do is groom yourself. When you wake up in the morning, be as deliberate as possible to groom yourself so that when you get out of your house or the hostel, or when you're going to the organization, there is a way you're presenting yourself, because first impressions last forever. And it's always very difficult to change our first impressions. So let us take that as something that we can deliberately work on. Be known in a certain fashion. It depends on how you want. As long as you're neat, you're clean, you're well groomed, it's your style, but always be excellent. Just be known for excellence in everything that you do. So as I almost wrap up, there's some items I just wanted us to, okay, be some echo. Okay, yeah, that's better. Thank you. So I want us just to focus on something called your difference is your strength. So with that background and that discussion that I've given you, then as we think of being in the board or being a leader, then let us look at your difference is your strength. We are all unique. We all have our strengths. So what we need to do is maximize on those strengths, build on them, get to have a personal vision board. Who is in your vision board? Who is involved in you discussing your strategy? Who's involved to talk about your finances? Who's involved to talk about your spiritual life? Who's involved in talking about your career? And that board helps you to actually move to any level of leadership, because they look at you as a whole. We are not piecemeals. They look at you as an individual, and all of this build to now your personal brand. And then now look at these qualities, and this is what I would wish all of us to go home with. That one is about value addition. So those items that we all need to work on. At every time we're thinking of a leadership position, or being excellent in what we do, or being excellent in organizations, in our personal lives, and still at the board level, is value addition. What value are you adding to the team, or to the organization, to the board that you're in? So all that, you really need to know what value. Always be a problem solver. Provide solutions. That is what makes you add value to any setting you're in. The second one is about integrity. Remember the story of the boiled seed? The employee got that position because of his integrity. So at the end, he's always do the right thing. It might cost you, yes, but one thing that it does, it might cost you sometimes, just doing the right thing because others believe differently. But then what you will do when you've done the right thing in every situation is that you don't have to think twice around it, and you will be getting out with your head high, knowing that you did the right thing, and always doing the best, giving your best at everything you're in. Just be the best version of yourself. So you have value addition, you have integrity. Third is be a team player. Remember, a board is not one. An organization is made up of different people. In school, we are made up of very different people. But then what we need to do is you need to be a team player, because everyone has their strength, and that is the strength you want to build on. It's like a puzzle. A puzzle, for it to make sense out of it, for you to see the whole picture out of it, it has different puzzles. Therefore, that puzzle has different people, and therefore you need to be one of them so that you gel in, and so that you gel in with everyone. So be a team player, listen to others, share your ideas, always be open, and all agree, because a team, an organization's success is all about teamwork. Even the board, there are always different skills and expertise within a board. Therefore, you come in and you blend, gel with the rest, and all work towards one common goal, so that you lead that organization to the next level, to be the organization that you always want to be proud of and to be associated with. The fourth thing I want us to really keep in mind again is hard work. Hard work and working smart all come in. All these things don't come on a silver platter. You'll go through ups, you'll go through downs, you will need people to talk to, but you still need to put in that extra effort at the place you are currently, knowing where you're heading to tomorrow, or in 5 years, in 10 years' time, where do you want to be? So you have to work towards that and get people to support you towards it. So if it is that extra skill you need to get, if it is that meeting you need to attend, if it's that conference you need to attend, if it is that lecturer you need to talk to, you need to do that. So you need to put in that hard work, and everyone that you can always resonate with, you will always see there's some hard work around it. Even with organizations, the brands that we know, it just didn't come out that all of a sudden, let me use the M-Pesa from Safaricom. It just didn't come out from anywhere. It was something that was deliberated upon, tried, really engaged very many people, and now it's the buzzword. The various organizations, even Coca-Cola itself, the first year, I think they only sold 8 bottles. But right now, it is a giant. So even ourselves as individuals, that's how small you can start, build yourself, and one day you'll be the legend that we are all looking up to, and you'll have left a very strong legacy. The fifth, just have 2 additions, and then I will leave and get back to Chaltu, is that you need to reveal yourself. Who are you? You're doing very good work around so many things like that. School, you're the one who's come up with a nice project, either in the electrical field or mechanical field, or maybe in the civil, or any, maybe you're a good architect, but who are you? Let people know you. Because when you do not define your personal brand, then others will define you. So you need to reveal yourself. Define yourself. How do you want to be known? What do you want to be known? Because as we said, if you don't do it, then others will. And are you going to be comfortable with that description? We don't know. They could define you very well, or they could define you otherwise. So you need to choose. And at this age, then there's the social media. How do you project yourself on the social media? Is that the way you'd be happy in 3 years' time when you assess and look back at history? Would you be proud of what you were posting? Would you be proud of how you're projecting yourself? But there's always continuous improvement. That is what Kaizen teaches us. We can always improve. So let us have that in mind in everything that we do. We can always start from zero. Even at this time, we can start now, but build to the future that we want. And finally, that I say, because we are learning all this, get someone in your field, outside your field, it is your choice. But get a mentor. Get a mentor, people who've been there before us, for them to hold our hands and take us to the next level. At the same time, get a coach. And you can have both. You can have a mentor who is in your line of expertise and how you want to grow. And at the same time, have a coach, because coaches, they do not necessarily have to be in our line of expertise, but they actually hold, and what a coach does is that they bring your potential out. For those in the football world, the coaches don't have to be the best footballers, but they train and develop the best teams in the world. Why? Because they identify the uniqueness, that difference in that player. Our teachers did the same thing to us. They have built us, so they always know in you there's something. There's a difference. You have a uniqueness. That is the uniqueness that these people bring out. And that difference is the strength that will make us sit at the table and have a voice at the table. So ladies and gentlemen, I wish to leave it there and tell us that the future is bright. Let us join hands and let us change the world, because this world needs all of us. We all have space. And for the sustainability of this world and the planet, then leave that mark for the generations to come, to always remember that you were once here, and this is what you did to make the world a better place for them, through the board positions you'll get, through the leadership positions you'll get in campus or at workplaces, in the church, in the sports field, in Rotary, in all organizations that we engage ourselves in, those networking platforms that we have. take advantage of your difference and make it your strength. Thank you all, and back to you, Chaltu.
Wow, that was a very powerful session. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I feel like I've learned a whole lot more than I've learned in the last year. Thank you so much, Engineer Martha. So for those who might have joined us a bit later, Engineer Martha is a very seasoned engineer. She has an mechanical engineering degree from the University of Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta University. And she's also very actively involved in mentorship. From the session, you can see the kind of advice she has is really well profound. So I've seen a couple of questions from the viewers. So I don't know, Martha, if we'll go ahead and which one would you like to start with?
Please share those questions with me.
Okay.
Because
So
yes, that I can respond.
I'm seeing some very interesting ones. There's one I've seen where someone is saying somewhere in the US that ladies are being asked to start wearing makeup. I see both you and I are not very made up, if I may say. But yes, in terms of dressing, in terms of how one will appear, even from how they dress to how they keep themselves, what would be your advice to young people out here?
That's an interesting one. Yes.
Yeah.
My advice is just be yourself. If makeup works for you, please go ahead and do it. If you feel it is not your thing and you can do minimal touches, that is fine. That is still in order. Bottom line is be comfortable with who you are and present yourself in the best way you know how. That is all about good grooming, because it's now about and then there are some specific, I think, professions that have a different dress code. So if your organization has a dress code, then you go ahead with that, but do not copy. Remember my statement, we always look copy from someone thinking they have the same exam, but unfortunately it's not. So just be you. That's it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. So there's someone else who's asking or let me read the questions for you. I'll make a few comments and then we can go ahead and handle all of them. So do you think that the age of a leader is one to prioritize, is a priority criteria to be taken into consideration? So as a leader, is age a priority criteria? Then the other one, how should one act as an engineer when they feel the work they do is not remunerating with the pay? So you feel how as an engineer you should act when you feel the pay you're getting does not reflect the kind of work that you're doing. So the other one is, how do you improve at speaking in front of crowds and portraying yourself confidently? So in terms of presentability, yes, when speaking to large crowds. So the other one, do you think a good chef make a good team, or the good team makes a good leader? Oh, this is also important. I think they're asking in terms of does the leader make the team, or does the team make the leader? Which one helps the other more? Last question, what is preferred, a leader without knowledge of the job, or a skilled engineer neglecting the rules of leadership? Okay, I don't. So what is preferred, a leader without knowledge of the job, or if someone who doesn't have a lot of skills but they're good at leadership, or is it someone with more skills and less leadership skills? More work skills than leadership skills. I think that's what they're asking. Yes. So as Engineer Martha goes through that, maybe I should just give a comment in terms of how we came to this particular topic. I remember as the organizing committee, we were trying to discuss, hey, what do you think engineers would like to talk about? we were just trying to go about what we'll be able to discuss. And someone mentioned that as young people, someone told them that as we come into the industry, we are coming in with a lot of expectations and a lot of demands, saying this is what I want. You're coming in already with that aspect of the kind of even in remuneration what we'd want. But I remember now coming in and saying, hey, you know what, as even as young people, even if we don't have a lot of experience, if you're able from what, and you've clearly just stated the same things, that you need to know what you really want, be able to really position yourself in a way that you'll be able to put in value, which is something I think most of us aren't able to really configure at an early stage. Yeah. So coming in and being able to really understand what you're good at and putting that out there, I think is one of the things now. Is like, no, as young people, as much as we may not have experience, I can give an example for my own experience. Someone has just asked, what do you do as maybe I can help you with that. Just one question in terms of what you should do when you feel you're not getting what you really wanted. And as a young person, how do you go about asking for what you feel would be able to really fulfill what you're doing? So I think one thing I noticed is I am not really good at working with machines only. So I really pushed to get a position where I'd be able to work with people. And then the aspect of remuneration. I think for young people, it's how know what value you're bringing to the table, which Engineer Martha has really placed well. If you know the kind of value we're not saying just come in and ask for, hey, I want more. It's know the kind of value you're bringing to the table, and then be able to position in yourself where you can showcase your strengths and use them to be able to really, even as you go in to say I'd like more, or I'd like a change, you're able to validate what you're asking for. I think for that's what I'll be able to say. And I think, Engineer Martha, you've really handled this well in terms of helping us understand how to understand our value and also to be able to bring that out. So thank you very much. You can go on with the questions.
Okay, thanks, Chaltu, and thanks for helping me respond. So it becomes easy for me. So looking at the first one that you've highlighted, one thing I want to talk about is, okay, we mentioned about the makeup issue. The other one is about the age. Age, there are different ways to look at items about the word age, about your age. Is it a priority criteria? In some, depends, let me put it that way, because we have seen very young people who've taken leadership at a young age. At the same time, there have been older people who've taken the same leadership positions and have still done very well. And what I look at all these situations is the value they brought to the table. That's it. Because we can go to different countries. And I think one that we always make reference to every single time is, at what age did Barack Obama become president? At the same time, what age did Trump become a president? Different ages, same leadership role. When we look at how people have done very well in terms of the business they've come in, and when you just look at trend, the Bill Gates of this world. In Africa, the richest man, the Dangote. In Kenya, we have various leaders who have been there. Wangari Maathai was there. At what age did they take that leadership and making themselves have a legacy to maintain? So age depends, but value is what people look for. And don't shy off to take a leadership position when you're young. That is one thing that I'll tell you. Don't. If we are to give you, some of us that had some positions we took up at very young age of the 20s, and the feedback that we have given or the documents that we have developed at those ages are huge. So age, let it not stand between you and your vision. Just ask yourself what value you're going to give at whatever leadership role you're going to get. For those in Kenya, you can always remember Moria, how he started and now he's the CEO and he's always talked about. He became a CEO at a young age. He's done very well. The others who become CEO at an older age and they're still done very well. When we look at the appointments that are going on, they're not talking about the youth. So have you placed yourself very well to be recommended for a certain position? That brings in the story about your tribe. Who is in your tribe? There's some suppliers you interact with, your clients, your customers, your colleagues, people you interact with on a daily basis. Can they recommend you for something? So that's a question and food for thought for all of us. What value, no matter your age, do you bring to the table? The other thing that I've been told to talk about is, does the team make the leader or the leader makes the team? It's two-way traffic. You see, the team comprises of the team leader and the members. So all these two people need to work together. The leader will set the line. He or she will provide the guidance, develop the vision together with the team. The team members will deliver and implement and execute the plan, but again, still seek guidance to them. So these two work together. And as they say, the leader, you can also tell how the leader is based on the team they work with and how the team comes out. So what do we strive to be, all of us? As you strive to be a leader, strive to be a team player. Because being a team player, and then you brought your entire team together to support the growth of the common goal and achievement of the common goal. You're all working towards one goal. So that's how the two of them work together. You need a very good leader. At the same time, you need the team members to work together and be very good team players for the leader to succeed. So these two people have to gel and agree to work together for the common goal and the common good of everyone. On the grievances, I think it has been mentioned, but then dependent on different generations, we can see there are different generations that are there. And everyone's talking about Generation Y, Generation Z, the millennials and all that. But then something that comes to mind at every instant is, are you gaining the experience that you desire? Are you willing to learn from others? Are you willing to share your knowledge and skills with others? What value have you brought to the table? Because different organizations have their channeling, a way of channel. They have channels for grievances to be resolved or to be heard. Use those channels. Place your call. Talk to your supervisor. That's the person who will direct you and guide you. But then as you bring out your grievances, bring out what you have done for that organization to consider you for the raise, because they have to see that value. And then your experience internally, your networking, you identifying what you're good at, can always lead you to do something else. Because vision still comes to it. Where are you targeted? Where are you heading to? So if you feel the current space is not working for you, then as an individual, you also need to come up with a plan on how to make that current situation work, deliver on what is expected of you, as you build yourself and package yourself for the next assignment that you're looking out for, either in your own self-employment or in another organization, but build yourself. Learn as much as you can, share as much as you can, build your skills, build your experience, widen your scope, be an expert, and the world is open. There are very many opportunities. Seek out those opportunities and take them. Do not fear. Do not settle in a comfort zone. No. Take the risk. Look at the pros and the cons of every opportunity. Take that opportunity. Take the risk. Who knows? It could be the best risk for you. It could have been the best decision that you ever made. So don't settle. That's the best way I can mention, or I can address that in terms of grievance resolution. Just don't settle. Don't be comfortable. Be agitated. Always think, what else can I do better? What's my best version for tomorrow? Don't settle. Don't stay in your comfort zone. You don't achieve much in your comfort zone. You need to get out of your comfort zone, then learn and run with it. So every single time, just get out of your comfort zone. If you feel you're getting comfortable and everything is okay, things are working out for you, it's becoming a routine, and you're thinking, I'm good here. That night, sit and ask yourself, in the next 5 years, where do I want to be? What is my goal? Have I achieved it? If yes, what is the next goal? So you always review, continuously review your goals, and don't settle. Chaltu, is there anything I've left? Sorry.
Sorry.
I remember
Yeah.
there's something about public speaking.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. How do you gain confidence? I can tell you for sure. Anyone who goes to stage or speaks, there's always some butterflies
Yeah.
in your stomach at every juncture, no matter how many conferences you'll have done or speaking opportunities you've had. But then there are various ways of you building confidence. One is having people close to you who sit in and listen in. That's what I do. So they listen in and they give you feedback, and they're going to give you genuine feedback. So even at home or when you're with your friends, get a certain topic and try it out. See what feedback it comes with. And the next thing I would advise is there are classes around it. There are others who've joined Toastmasters. So there are some organizations that train on public speaking. Number 3 is identify, like as we said, identify your expertise and then sit through and try to come up with points out of it. So you read through it, you do your research, because you need to have knowledge. So do your research, read, engage others, watch videos, and then you learn from that. And always practice makes perfect. So just continue looking for those opportunities that you can speak. Look at yourself in the mirror. Sometimes we also do that and try to talk about something and see whether it brings out what you expect. If not, you improve, and get others to look at those people you admire, or those people you look up to. How do they present themselves? Who are the best speakers in this world that you want to emulate? And then check out YouTube, Google them out, and then make Google your friend and see if it's adding value to it. Pick it. Pick what works for you at every juncture. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So coming out of this, I think there's just you've answered all our questions. So I'll say what I've learned from this, that one thing we need to know is what we want to be known for, how we present ourselves. Our difference is our strength, and then our value addition, the integrity that we bring in, and the value that we bring to the table. So I think that aspect of integrity, your first story was really was really good. How you came into, I was wondering, okay, this seed hasn't grown. I didn't know how the story was really going to go. It was a really interesting one. And I think the aspect of integrity, wow, thank you so much. You brought it out so well. And as young people, we're really looking forward to make sure we put our best foot forward and ensuring that we bring integrity, value, and our differences onto the table without being shy, and really turning that into our strength. Thank you so much, Martha. I don't think there's any question we missed out. yes, I think we've answered all of this. And yes, in terms of speaking in front of crowds, I'll be honest, starting off, I almost even forgot forgot your position, got a few butterflies, but I'm really glad we did this. Yes, so thank you so much, guys. Gerald, are you on? And this
Yes,
has been Kenya section.
yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was sitting here in utter
Okay,
shame the whole time you guys were
it's
talking.
okay.
I'm still in the position in my career
Thank
where
you.
I'm
Yes.
not very good at talking in front of public people. That question came from me, how I can improve.
Uh,
Nice, nice,
oh yeah.
Gerald.
And I mean, all of IEEE Kenya has spoke so eloquently tonight. I have a lot of improving to do, but it's wonderful listening to everyone
Thank
speaking.
you.
I'm learning as I go
Thank
along.
you. Thank you. Thanks, Chaltu.
Thank you all so much.
Okay, good evening, everyone.